Hey everybody, it's Z with Quest, and got something a little bit different here. If you've read my mission report or action report uh, on the net yet, but it was a teammates rescue. We had a little difficulty that we had to take care of, but I thought I'd share it with you. So in the beginning here, uh, due to the China virus, the child brothels are less, but as we know, it'll grow again and soon. That's already started to happen. We were stopping transports of little girls being sold, with most coming from Vietnam due to their light complexion and all the other countries that we work in. We also were focusing on repairs to buildings, which I'll be showing some pictures of, paperwork and the security of the homes the rescued girls are growing in. Beyond that, we are doing something else. We are learning. We are learning a lot. So here we go. As many of you know, one of our teammates uh, on a regular house mission picking up food for our girls was captured. As in protocols, Joe was not alone. There are a lot of protocols that I just don't go into, for obvious reasons, but um, they're never alone. So anyway, the bad guys were laying in wait as Joe entered the establishment. He knew immediately that something was wrong with no one there, but he could hear voices coming from a room in the back. He signaled to the other two teammates outside. Then Joe heard screaming coming from the room. He took action, and his experience told him it was not the kind of screaming that could wait. He entered the room and to find six bad guys with the mother, father, and daughter of the food provider. They were in the center of the room, bound and gagged. The bad guys' plan was to kill the family in front of him and then kill him to send a message. Uh, the bad guys, may have known of this pickup through scattered times he makes this pickup, but that they did not know or consider that he was always have our teammates as a shadow. Uh, Joe attacked immediately before to play out this drama. To prevent playing out this drama. The rest of the team then entered and won the room. Downside was four of the bad guys had Joe in with a full display of weapons. They exited the room out the back and into the alleyway with one of our teammates covertly in pursuit. The other teammate freed and checked the family. Uh, the the father grabbed a knife and tried to chase after those who had our Joe. One of our teammates stopped him and assured him that we had this. Uh, we called some other teammates in the area to secure the location while the father was instantly gathering the food that we came to get. Note here, our supporters are more than just good people, they are also our family. The wife and daughter also joined in to help because the father was still too shook up to prepare the food. When the other teammates arrived, they began checking the neighborhood for friendlies without drawing attention. They were getting directions and numbers so that we could begin to track down our teammate who was following Joe. Our teammates arrived and would be tasked with low profile security for the store and the family. The father still wanted to do more, but we made him see his family and focus on that. During this time, we got back on track. Our teammates' location, and we got back on track on our teammates' location and moved toward that location. Soon after tracking the tracking teammate contacted us with the details. The bad guys were now getting transportation, and we got a visual on Joe. He obviously, he had been beaten, but was still aware enough to make eye contact with the teammate that was following him, that was on location. Joe now knew he was not alone. Let's call a teammate on location teammate one. He also got transportation and followed. We put out an alert to the entire team, and all available were on the way, while the ones that were not available were gathering resources to assist us. As of right then, we were considering how much the bad guys knew about us, uh, who we are, and if any connection to the home's location had been compromised. This was highly doubtful, yet it was part of the rescue information that we needed to gather. Next, hours went by as more of the team arrived and was assigned duties. 2 hours went by as more of the team arrived, was assigned duties. 2 days later, we had the location where Joe was and being held. It was a large warehouse with few entries and less windows. It was an open area, making things more difficult. We were gathering location details and knew he had no friends there. Loose assessment was that 27 bad guys were within the building and loosely 14 outside. Our force was building by the day, with 32 near location and 52 still en route. That would arrive probably within the next day. Our unavailable teammates were sending us a lot of intel with identifications and their associates, family members, and locations on them. We also had ears on and within the building. Joe was alive, and it was believed with the overheard conversation that the bad guys had bitten off more than they can chew, and there was dissension in the ranks. We discovered this was not a sanctioned event. Even the bad guys have rules of engagement and action. We were trying to get locations of the bad guys in the building, but we also did not know the rooms except for movement of the guards that we saw inside. One thing we did have was Joe's location. We had to guess where the walls were and how to get to him. 6 days in now, and we were ready. No one was coming to help the bad guys, and they now knew it. It was now critical that regardless of anything else, they had to make a move, and we would had to go under the assumption that they would kill Joe. Always in and out of this area, we had blocked upon a call. Communication was complete for the team, and the chain of command was ordered. Also, more teammates had arrived, but sent to their locations after a rescue. For those of you who know us, when we plan, we have several possible outcomes and know how each of them will end before we take action. And who was the commander that I put in place? It was our famous G.I. Jane that has been there in the front of many of our rescues. She was one of the one at the rescue when we lost some of our cherished teammates. Anyway, as time grew near for us to make a move, we observed the area that had become like a ghost town. No one was setting up for their usual business day or doing anything but fleeing. 5 of the bad guys exited the building and ran. We waited till they were clear, and then we captured them. As the first team moved in, we made use of our gathered important intel from the bad guys of the building layout. We knew it was legit, and we made our path more direct to Joe. None would escape, and all had the necessary equipment to see everyone would be secured. Then the first team had reached the area and we would breach, and yes, teammate 1 was with them. They went directly to Joe's location and found he was behind a locked door. It was fast. I heard an explosion, but I could not see much because it was so dark. Quickly, the team assessed that there was no traps and then entered. Joe was unconscious. Team 2 then had entered 10 seconds after Team 1 and was clearing the building and securing the bad guys along the way. A quick check outside saw no movement and no alarms. Then the second prize. The leader was caught with his pants down, so to speak. All weapons were dropped as we entered in and apprehended the leader and what was left of his crew. At this point, Joe would be the priority, and he was extracted to get medical attention. It would be a distance, but we had a medical teammate that would be with him. Joe was in really bad shape, broken ribs, stab wounds, countless other injuries. One of the main methods used on him was a cattle prod. I knew this very well and can tell you it becomes far more than physical after several days of it. Now that we had Joe and it was time to deal with the bad guys. With convincing, they are all very helpful and we would reward them, kinda. Before we could party, we had to put in place several protocols for any locations, details, or anything that would jeopardize our people or locations. Also, extra intel and eyes would be on high alert for some time. Even some of our teammates had other jobs throughout the world, bailed on their current work to come and join us during this time. We are family, and family will always come first, and this includes everyone on the ground, our kids, teachers, volunteers, etc. Okay, here's what happened in the next few days. We knew that the bad guys were part of a much larger group that hates us for costing them so much money, and this was far beyond just losing face. These guys acted alone without authorization. They thought if they were successful, they would move up in the ranks, but that would have never happened. They just did not know that. We knew who they worked for and where their headquarters was located, and this plan of ours was way outside the box and extremely dangerous, but the team deserved a little bit of fun. To make a long story short, they escorted him to a point and several teammates took locations so that at any time, if something did not go as planned, we would end them, so to speak. The leader was placed in a wooden coffin, locked by the way. The others were chained together and to the coffin. They would carry him for about a mile to the headquarters front door. There, the red dots appearing on the bodies, they would turn themselves in. On the inside of the coffin, there was where the leader was laid, a note was placed. One of your flock seems to have strayed, but now is found. Please take care of him. Also, we left a deck of our playing cards, as I put on the written portion of this on Facebook. Again, blessings to all of you and for your continued support and prayers. As for the rescues, I mentioned earlier, the kids, at the beginning of this report, we rescued 19 of them, ages 7 to 13. That brings the Quest total to rescued 1,976 kids. So check us out. See ya.